and welcome back to the channel. Over the last few weeks, I have been working on organizing my office. Several months ago, we worked on a beautiful built-in cabinet and desk setup in my office, and now it needs to be organized. I initially thought I would thrift a whole bunch of storage bins and containers that I could use to organize the space in my closet, but as you can imagine, it's hard to find what you need when you need it, and I found a lot of things I didn't need, but that I wanted. So I picked them up and I thought I would share those with you. I've been sharing little bits and pieces of the office organization over the last few weeks, so if you haven't caught up on those videos, make sure to go back and watch them. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I promise you will not want to miss out on all the fun things we chat about. First up is this glass marble cloche serving dish. And I see these all the time, but a lot of times the glass is like chipped on the edges or the marble platter isn't in great condition. But this was like flawless and it was only $10. I was very excited because I often only make like a few cookies or baked goods at a time. I regularly make like big batches of cookie dough and like freeze the dough balls, so I'm not tempted to make like a big batch of cookies at a time and eat them all myself. So because you only have a handful of baked goods at a time, I thought this would be cute. We could store them under there and it looks pretty on the countertop. I brought this home and I was like, Matt, look, now we have a place to put our baked goods and they'll look so cute on the counter. And he was like, thank goodness. I had no idea where to put them and they looked awful before. So now we have a solution. That was the feedback I received. Every time I go thrifting, or like I have these like clusters of thrift trips that I take, there tends to be a theme. And this time it was vessels, specifically milk glass. I got 4 milk glass vessels. I see milk glass all the time. It's very popular, but a lot of times the pattern on the outside is kind of dated. So when I spot patterns I like and the price is right, I try to pick them up because I'm working on building like my vase and vessel collection. I have big plans for the gardens this year. The theme is flowers and way too many of them, so I want to make sure I have a collection of vases that I can grab when it's time to start cutting flowers so I can fill them and just put flowers all over the house. So I picked up this little guy. I thought this would be a fun one for just like a few big blooms. I liked the little like floral detail around the outside. I got this bud vase, which has a really pretty like fluting around the outside, and I liked this flared top. It just kind of looks like a flower when you look at it from the top down. I got this one, which also has some nice like fluting, and I really liked the flared out base. And then I got this guy, which is like a more of a compote shape, and I loved this like outer edge. It just kind of reminded me of like a piece of lace, and I liked how kind of low it was. So you'll definitely be seeing more of those in the summer when we've got flowers to fill them with. On that same theme, but not in milk glass, I found this really cute piece of pottery. It looks like it was someone's piece they made in a pottery class and maybe didn't love, which I can totally relate to because I took a pottery class last year and I made a whole bunch of things. It was my first class. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's very challenging, but the glaze was such a shot in the dark. Like, it's really hard to get a specific look unless you already know the combination of glazes, and there were a lot of pieces I liked, but then the glaze combination came out of the kiln and I was like, oh god, that's awful. So I definitely donated them. I don't even think I shared them with you because I was like, I am not showing everybody my work, but I should have done that, and the next time I take a class, I will share it with you. So anyway, every time I see like a piece like this with someone's initials on the bottom, I think, oh, they probably took a pottery class and they didn't like that, but I liked it. I love the light blue. I love the sort of like drippiness on the inside and on the outside. I loved the like asymmetrical dip here. So this will be another one that we will fill with flowers when the gardening season is upon us. I found this really cute pair of like green glass candlesticks. I loved the funky shape. It feels a little more modern, but I thought these would be fun, especially around Christmas time. Obviously, I'm a green and blue girl. That's like my go-to colors. I need to expand my color palette. But these immediately caught my eye, and I have these white candlesticks that are kind of like carved in the shape of a Christmas tree, and I didn't end up using them last year, but I thought those would be cute in these for next year. I don't have a place for these in mind right now, but I know like once I get all the Christmas stuff out, I will find the right place for them. In addition to my vessel collection, I'm really trying to build my collection of just like styling and decor pieces, things that I really love. I think in the past, I've always become a blocker for myself. I've been like, no, if you don't have a place for it, don't get it. And then I get home and I'm like, oh, I wish I had gotten that thing. It would have worked really well here. So I've been trying to get past that blocker in my head and build a collection because A, I love to change things up. So sometimes I just put things up seasonally and then I'll take them down and store them for a bit. But I also love to just switch things up every now and then. And sometimes you need like a big collection of stuff to sift through and kind of try in different places to come up with the right collection or like styling pieces for that particular shelf or whatever space. So anyway, I've really been trying to just like pull the trigger on things I love. I'm definitely not a believer of buying things only if they are specific to a certain style, unless you love them. One of the biggest lessons I've learned and also like advice I've latched onto is buy things you love and you will find a place for them. Your house does not have to look like it came out of a magazine. It does not have to match any Pinterest inspiration you find. I mean, sure, I look at those things for inspiration, I see things I like and I add them to my shopping list, but there's something to be said about just like pursuing the things that you like and creating spaces with pieces that you love. That to me is the best reflection of who you are, and you'll be happiest in those spaces. If you are trying to like check a box or match an image, it's really not you, it's someone else. So if I would give any advice to any new thrifters, seasoned thrifters, people designing spaces in their homes, it would be that. Just if you love it, get it. All right, back to the thrift haul. I got this beautiful little painting. I was first captured by the frame because I'm a gold frame kind of person, but I also really love the painting. I initially was like, oh, I'll swap that art out. I'll just keep the frame and reuse it for something else. But the more I looked at it, the more I was like, that is really beautiful. It's like a still life of like some fruit and a pitcher. And this actually inspired me to create like a little coffee tea nook in the kitchen. We have this little corner that's kind of awkward. It's under the microwave. And I thought this would just kind of add a little bit of like coziness to that corner. So that's on my list of things to tackle at some point. I need to do a little kitchen reorganization and maximize our storage a little better so I can relocate some of the devices like the KitchenAid and the air fryer. I'm looking over there because it's in that corner and I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but I would love for it to be just like mugs, my coffee maker, a few cookbooks, maybe like something else that I'm about to show you, and this cute little painting because it's food themed. I thought it would be a perfect spot for it. I'm gonna save the good thing till the end because I love that one the most. Because I initially set out on these thrift trips looking for things I could use to store stuff in my office, I got these cute little baskets. This set of 3 was $30. Honestly, probably a little overpriced, but I loved them and I actually negotiated that price down. The price tag on these was $18 for each of these large ones and $10 for this. So I was able to work them down to $30 for the set of 3. And I thought these would be cute on the wall or on the side of the built-in. And if I didn't find a place for them in the office, I've got lots of little like nooks and corners in the kitchen or in the bathroom upstairs. So I knew I would be able to use these somewhere. A lot of people don't actually realize that you can negotiate when you go to thrift stores. Now, you know, they're all a little bit different, so there might be some that you can't, but most of the ones that I frequent around here are set up in such a way that like each sort of section is a different booth, which is a different seller, and some items in there are marked, I think they use net to indicate that that's like their lowest price. But if it doesn't say that on the tag, when you go up to the desk, you can ask them if they'll call the seller and, you know, if they're willing to negotiate on the price. So with that one in particular, I was like, I really like these baskets. I feel like they're kind of expensive. And she was like, wow, $18 for one? Like maybe she mispriced it. So she called the woman and was like, someone's interested in these baskets, are you willing to do $30? And she said yes, which is awesome. So don't be shy, you can definitely save money. It's really fun to negotiate, and what's the worst that's gonna happen? They're gonna say no, like then you can decide if you wanna pay the full price or you can pass on it and keep looking. I also grabbed this really pretty glass fluted dish. I thought this would be good for some of our bathroom items on the vanity. We keep a lot of things that we reach for regularly right on top of the counter, but because it's like a countertop and we're washing our faces and brushing our teeth and whatever, water's always splattering and they're always just like sitting in kind of a puddle, which maybe speaks to how messy we are, but we're not that messy. We're not that messy. But anyway, I thought this would be good to kind of collect some of those things that we reach for regularly. I also liked the fact that it was glass because it's easy to clean, it can get wet, it's not going to rust. A lot of times I see like metal trays or like cute little like baskets that people put on their vanity, and while I think it looks really cute, I just think in my head like that is totally going to rust, or that basket is going to get wet and potentially like moldy. So I definitely want to be practical while infusing like style into our spaces. I also picked up this little glass pineapple dish. It was $2, so it was an absolute yes for me. It reminded me of a trip I took with a friend a couple of years ago to Savannah, Georgia. When we were there, we learned that the pineapple was like a symbol of hospitality and welcoming guests, and I just liked that symbol, and it reminds me of that trip, so that's why I got it. This would not be a thrift haul without a random item thrown in there, and so this is it. It's a ceramic basketball ornament. My husband used to play basketball, loves basketball, his family loves basketball, and this was 50% off, so I think it was $4, and I thought it would be fun to add to our memory Christmas tree next Christmas. And Christmas stuff is often deeply discounted when it's not Christmas time. So if you're a Christmas person like I am, keep your eyes peeled because you can often find really, really good prices on ornaments, decor, Christmas trees. Speaking of cute Christmas things, I also picked up this little vintage Santa mug. I started my collection of Santa mugs probably 3 or 4 years ago now. So far I only have 3. One of them was gifted to me from my mother-in-law's collection of Santa mugs. And the reason I started collecting them was because I always loved hers. She puts them on top of their fridge every like Christmas season, and I just love them. It's a really cute collection, and so I started my own, and I spotted this guy. It was $10 or maybe $8. I think the booth was 20% off. So I figured I would snag it and add it to my collection for next year. Last but certainly not least is this beauty. So if you've caught up on recent vlogs, you know a few weeks ago I went thrifting and I spotted something similar to this, but it was like, I think it was listed for $99, and that was the sale price because it was actually like $189 or something crazy. And I was like, no way, I can't pay $100 for that. Definitely not $190 for that, but certainly not $100. That seems silly. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just a popular item. Maybe that's something that people are looking for right now. So I researched it when I left to see what this like apothecary sort of spice cabinet type of thing would go for. And $100 was actually kind of reasonable. I saw things from like, you know, anywhere from like 80 to 100, I would say, on average. So a few thrift trips later, I was at a different place and I spotted this guy and was like, oh my gosh, that's the one. It's just like the other one. And I like, my heart was beating and I went over to flip the price tag. So I was like, please be cheap, please be cheap. It was $75, and I was like, I don't know if I can spend $75. That still seems a little pricey. But I walked around, I thought about it. I went up to the lady at the front desk when I was checking out, and I was like, I spotted this piece. I really like it. Is the seller flexible at all on the price? And so she called her, and it turns out this was the seller's mother's, and she's like, it's in really good condition. All the drawers work. A lot of times you see these things and they're a little bit damaged or they're missing pieces. And she felt like 65 was fair, and I said, I'll take it. So that was one of those moments where in my head I was like, the reason I thrift is not only to find really fun, unique pieces, but also it's a lot more cost effective than buying things new. And I save a lot of money doing that, so when I find a piece that I really love, it's okay to spend a little bit of money. I also knew that because this was like a popular thing that was very sought after and people were willing to spend a little money on, that if I wanted to, I could always resell it and probably make my money back or even potentially make a profit on it. So I do always think about that when I'm purchasing something that's a little pricier. Like, if I don't keep this, could I resell it? And that's actually something that I've been thinking about a little bit lately. Like, I don't know, do I want to set up a booth? I love shopping. I always find things that I like but maybe wouldn't have a place for, or, you know, our rooms are too small so they wouldn't fit. But I still love shopping for them and like price hunting and doing all of that. So I don't know, I've been toying with the idea of maybe setting up a booth or a virtual shop. What do you guys think? Does anybody do that? Let me know below if you have any insight into that, because it's definitely of interest. Anyway, that is the haul. I hope you guys liked it. I love thrifting. I do it all the time. I try to go at least once a week, but sometimes I skip a week, or like in the summer I don't go as frequently because I'm lost in the garden. Speaking of, my seeds arrived, so I will be doing a seed share haul situation and share what I'm going to be planting in the garden this year soon, so stay tuned for that. But I digress. If you guys like this kind of video, you like seeing the thrifting, you want to see more thrift trips, thrift hauls, let me know below and I will try to plan more of them, because I will never ever say no to more thrifting, ever. And if you guys want more of it, I will happily get in the car and go find some stuff. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, hit the bell notification if you want updates for future uploads, and share it with a friend if you think it's something they'd like. I will catch up with you in the next video.